Welcome back, Game Squad.
Welcome back.
We are back.
We are
Week
back.
number 7.
Yes. Second episode of the week
That's it.
for Sunday football. But what a game we had on Thursday.
Lots to. Interestingly, we saw some things. We called it. We called a few things, which
We
we'll
did.
get into. But I'll open up by saying, if I have the honor,
For sure.
the curse is officially broken.
Yes. The curse of Thursday night is officially broken and over with.
That's it.
Starting a new trend now.
Oh, finally.
Finally, correctly picking teams.
I know.
Or
I'm
incorrectly picking
incorrectly being
There we go, yes. So, yeah, that's out of the way. Going into Thursday football, I myself, Alnoor, was 4-2 going in. My brother here was 0-6.
Yes.
As you just heard now, the curse was broken, which means Irshad's pick came through.
Finally.
Well, mine's didn't, but I also said I wanted to do it for the curse, and we know the curse is broken. We saw onslaught by Denver. Was it 33-10 final score?
They practically covered this over-under themselves.
Yeah, they did. And we were here sitting here how it's going to be a slow game. It's going to be an ugly game, which it started off to be.
It was.
In the starting, it was nice. They were punting the ball back and forth. A couple of runs here and there.
I mean, it was only one touchdown in the first half.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, it was just kicks.
All the way through. Yeah.
All the way through. And then at the end of the third quarter where, Denver realized, hey, listen, we could just get away with this. Scored another one. Then their defense showed up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Got that fumble touchdown. And then backdoor over.
That was it.
New Orleans came in, scored that touchdown with 1 minute 25 seconds left in the game.
Yep.
And that game went straight over.
I think he's trying to prove a point there, right? I think the quarterback from the Saints, when he came in, Hainer, he was just trying to say that, hey, you know what? Let me play next time.
Yeah.
Because I think the way everything was kind of going about it, I think that game, Hainer should have started earlier because Spencer Rattler just wasn't doing it.
Wasn't there. And Hainer was in the depth chart, was second.
He was
Second
actually
straight.
second.
So to be second going into the season with that mentality, and then your number one quarterback gets injured, and now they're like, oh, just sit there. We're going to take the guy below you as a rookie.
By
to start
the way,
over you,
yeah.
Which absolutely made no sense to me. But, good for him for coming out, showing what he
That's
got.
it.
And maybe they need to move away from Rattler and have,
Him take over.
Just take over next week.
I mean, and that's exactly why we didn't do over unders for Thursday.
Yeah,
we figured something was gonna come out.
Yeah, it is spooky season.
It is spooky.
Saying, so
and that was it.
Got a field goal. A whole bunch of nonsense happened.
It was. But all to say is, we hope for Hainer.
Yes.
The curse is broken.
Yep.
Our new records, Alnoor sitting at 4-3, brother.
Yep.
I no longer have a goose egg.
Yes.
I'm 1-6.
Got the one.
All right, but that's all we could do for Thursday night.
Yeah.
Now, to actually get into some of the festivities, beyond just the game calling, let's start off with our fantasy lineup for Thursday. How do we do?
All right, so we picked one player across the board.
Yep.
And we went even. We were 3 for 6.
Yep.
Out of all 6 positions, we got 3 of them that were the right choice. The other 3, there were other players on the other side.
Yep.
Or on the same side that just had a better performance.
Yep.
Which, let us down, but that's okay.
That was okay.
It wasn't as bad.
Honestly, we hit Bo Nix. We had better of the quarterback between Bo Nix and the other one.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, obviously 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Lots of yardage, so he hit. I think the surprise to me was Sutton.
Yeah.
Sutton being wide receiver 1 for the Broncos.
Just goose egg.
0 points. And they won.
Yeah, he wasn't even targeted either.
Which is crazy to me.
You would think, there be something, but I guess, hey.
But nothing.
They told him he's playing defense on the offense, just blocking, and that's it.
What it was. Be the decoy, I guess.
Be the decoy, and that's it.
So that was a bit of a surprise. Juan Johnson, he also picked up some points, but, I think he came second or third in terms of tight end yardage on the game and the points. So, we did kind of call that. He did pick up the receptions, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Yep.
But, unfortunately, he was officially, or technically rather, the third highest tight end of that game. So we lost. We'll take our to the chin. And
we had what? Defense?
Defense we hit.
Defense we had
with the Broncos.
It solidified when they scored that fumble recovery touchdown.
Easy, yeah.
So you knew their fantasy points was going to be huge right there.
Yeah.
And then we had our kicker.
Group A.
But hey, listen, they only scored that one kick at the extra point.
That's true.
We were anticipating an ugly game with a lot of field goals.
Yeah.
But New Orleans just didn't have the willpower to march down and just, get something going, and it just didn't work out in their favor. And, you had Denver's kicker out here, Will Lutz, coming out, had a good performance.
Great performance, yeah.
Great performance, and put it up. But there you guys have it. Even.
3
for 6. It wasn't, I'd rather take even than a negative.
I'll
like
take
a lower percentage than 50.
Exactly.
Right? So there we go. Which now leads us to
our trending bet.
Yes. We had Kamara to score a touchdown anytime. Kamara was given, why we gave everybody this pick was simple. There's nobody playing for New Orleans.
Yep.
Kamara has to come out, put on a show, at least get to the 1 yard line, 10 yard line, find the paint and score. But once again, they were just held in check, and backup quarterbacks, Denver knew just blitz.
Yeah.
And just, aggravate the quarterback and put him in positions where he has to think fast, and he wasn't able to.
I agree. I mean, Kamara just couldn't get let loose, to be honest. Like, I think the backup running backs actually had bigger breakouts, which took that depth chart pretty early.
Yeah.
You had Rattler come in, obviously playing mediocre. Mm-hmm. They went behind early, which means they had to throw the ball more.
Exactly.
So, I mean, all to say is that, they were kind of playing catch-up all game. And then when Miller actually had that breakout, Keandre Miller, I mean, you're going to start running the hot hand, whatever you can.
Yeah.
And Kamara kind of got tossed to the back. So, unfortunately, we didn't get that bet. But
we got something, though.
So, though we lost the trending bet,
yes,
we also gave you guys a free 3-leg parlay.
Which I could not stop emphasizing it last week.
And this is by far and large Alnoor's favorite part. And I'll share with you the parlay,
yes,
and I will give the honor to Alnoor to give you the result.
All right.
So we gave you the free 3-leg parlay for Thursday Night Football, which was over 2.5 field goals in the entire game.
Yep.
Kamara rushing and receiving yards under 108 yards.
Yep.
And Juan Johnson over 2 receptions.
Yeah.
For a total of 3.25 times your unit. So, Alnoor, how do we do?
All right, so let's go. First leg, you said over 2.5 field goals.
Yes.
That was done in the first quarter?
Yep.
First half, sorry.
First half.
Right, first quarter, Lutz hit a field goal, hit another one. That was 2 already there. And then Group A hit the third one. And then Lutz hit the fourth one, too. So that one clearly over. First one was done. Second one, Juan Johnson. Juan Johnson wasn't really getting the ball early, but slowly Rattler had to throw to somebody.
Yep. Kind of what we called, too.
Yeah, that he's going to have to, trust somebody else. And look what happened. He ended up with 3 catches.
Yep.
3 catches, but he was targeted 6 times.
Yeah.
6 times he was targeted.
Which we called. He had to throw to somebody short.
Yeah.
Not somewhere far. He doesn't have anybody.
Exactly. And then which that also hit. And then the last leg, we had Kamara rushing and receiving yards under 108.5. Do you know how many rushing and receiving yards total Kamara had, Irshad?
How many?
24. He had 10 rushing yards and 14 receiving yards.
Wow.
All purpose was 24 yards in that game. And the line was at 108.
My goodness.
108. And there was a good feeling about this parlay we had because I was emphasizing it. You were happy about it. We were having an amazing time with it. Amazing time. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that parlay hit. I'm so excited.
That's it.
What to cook up next. But yes, that's another streak. Not only did Irshad break the curse, got a 1 there, we also hit the parlay.
We got the parlay.
We've been on a little streak of our own over there too. That's not happening. But yes, the parlay came through. Hope everyone ate. Hope you guys had fun.
We did.
I slept like a baby that night.
That was great.
I was so happy. I was like, yes.
You know what? I think someone's getting fired in Vegas for that line. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. 108?
And he only got 24?
24 yards?
24 yards? Come on.
Someone's getting fired in Vegas.
Yeah, or they knew, I don't know. We knew something that they didn't know.
Exactly.
That's basically
what it is. All the more reason to kind of follow AIM Sports Betting.
Exactly.
But keeping this momentum going, we are, as Alnoor mentioned, into the second half of Week 7, which means we're in it for the big Sunday Night Football games. So let's move on to the next half of this week.
Yes.
So our current records for Sunday Night Football, as we try to keep it different, as you know, Alnoor's sitting at 6-8-2.
Yep.
And I myself are at 7-8-2.
Yeah.
And so if you guys tuned into our last week's episode, we gave you guys about 6 or 7 games that were kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And we've narrowed it down to our games of the week.
Yes.
And these are big games of the week.
Oh, big games of the week.
We have one in every single window, and the last one is Primetime Monday.
Primetime Monday, which is 2 games on Monday, but still first window.
The first window
of still primetime though.
Yep.
On the Monday.
That's right.
And
so what's our first game?
Since AIM Sports Betting, if all you followers have been listening to us, you all very well clearly know we love divisional football games.
Always.
First window, we got the Detroit Lions versus the undefeated Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
With the line currently is at Minnesota favored -1.5. Coming off a bye week, long rest, coming to play a hot Detroit team that just dismantled the Dallas Cowboys after their bye week.
In Dallas.
Now we're traveling to Minnesota. This win, if Detroit somehow comes out to win, they're going to have the same record in the division.
That's crazy.
Can you believe it?
That's crazy.
So this game is going to be a big game.
Yep.
But before I get into my pick, I'll let Irsh elaborate a little bit on this game and what he sees and what he likes.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like Alnoor said, this is a big game with huge divisional implications.
Yep.
Detroit, Minnesota, we have we have to look at the three players and the three teams.
Yes, correct.
We have the two, Detroit and Minnesota, and then we also have the referees.
Yes, can never forget the referees.
They are definitely playing for Team NFL. So, this week we have Mr. Clay Martin himself refereeing with his team. So a couple of things. I'll start with the ref and kind of get that out of the way. All right? So, divisional home teams are 9-19 against the spread with Clay Martin officiating. 9-19. Yeah. So, obviously we don't really do money line, but the home teams are 13-15 on the money line. So they're actually tending to lose when Clay, or more likely to lose when Clay Martin's officiating. Yes. And why that's important is because the home team in this case is, in fact, the favorite.
Yes.
So, based on my call, Alnoor, I'm taking Detroit +1.5.
Ooh.
So the fact that the home team is more likely to lose actually aligns with the fact that they are 9-19 against the spread, because that actually bodes well for Detroit at +1.5.
It does.
But that's just kind of getting things started, to be honest, right? I mean, referee, that's one thing. These are key things to obviously know. This is going to be a key matchup.
Yep.
All right? Now, one of the things that I can share with you, because I am a fan of Jared Goff and the way he's been playing, so I'll start off by saying that. Jared Goff currently has been playing like a top-tier quarterback.
Oh, MVP-like quarterback.
MVP, okay? Jared Goff's career, he is 6-2 against the spread against the Vikings in his entire career.
Damn.
Okay? Now, when he's played the Vikings as a quarterback of Detroit, he's 6-0 against the spread.
Oh, damn.
Take that in.
Damn. So he just, when he sees Minnesota, he circles that counter. He goes, I'm eating.
I'm eating that day.
He goes, I'm eating.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, damn.
Like that to me, 6-0 as a quarterback of Detroit, not even his entire career, just as Detroit, he is 6-0, and I'd argue, and here's the crazy part, I'd argue he's playing some of the best quarterback football. Both him as well as his team is playing in recent memory.
And on top of that too, what you were saying about referees too with Clay Martin, so Goff is 6-0 against the spread.
Yeah.
Now with Clay Martin officiating, the Detroit Lions are 3-0 against the spread. 3-0 against the spread. So now you have Goff himself 6-0.
Yeah.
Then you have the ref who doesn't like home teams.
Yes.
And when he's reffing a game with the Lions playing, the Lions are 3-0 against the spread.
That to me,
it just pushes and shows that Detroit's gonna come out.
They're gonna
come out and show what they got.
So you got the three perfect ingredients.
Yeah.
Right? You got history.
Yep.
You got the teams, and you got the refs.
Yep.
Now, the best part of this is that technically Minnesota is -1.5 favored.
Yeah.
Which means that Detroit just has to lose by 1 for us to cover. But based on everything we're talking about, I wouldn't be surprised if they're the team to actually break Minnesota's
100%.
record, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what it is. I mean, obviously, Vikings coming off a bye week. Okay, we know this. And Sam Darnold, to his credit, is also playing some amazing football. Okay? But what I will also say is Sam Darnold, despite the way he has been playing and the team has been playing, it does seem that they kind of have a little thing going against him. Okay? So, yes, he's obviously, we know he's undefeated this year. Yeah, sure, okay. But what I will say is this season, obviously, as we know, Darnold's career, though, I mean, Vikings are 1-0 straight up. We know they're unbeaten, right? But in Sam Darnold's career, He's 7-14 straight up versus division opponents.
Damn.
And he's never won more than 2 games in a season versus division rivals.
Whew.
So right there and then, he's already gotten one from the Packers.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the X tomorrow against the Lions. So, I'm going to roll with Detroit plus 1.5. Alnoor, are you rolling with me? Or are we going separate on this one?
I'm going to say one more thing I like about this game too. Back to the referee. Referee is such a big thing.
It is.
We realize, while, letting you guys know our picks and what the research we'll be doing and what we're finding in here to make our picks as well, that the referees play a huge factor.
Yeah.
Now, with Clay Martin, when he refs with Detroit, and Detroit's 3-0 against the spread, when he's also reffing when Minnesota is playing, Minnesota is 2-5-1 against the spread when he is officiating. And in the Kevin O'Connell era, when Martin is officiating, Minnesota Vikings, they are 0-3 against the spread.
What? So not only does he prefer the Lions, but he actually dislikes
the Vikings. And then he doesn't like home teams, and he loves the road teams, which all favors to Detroit, which clearly states, Irsh, brother, I'm rolling with you, Detroit plus 1.5. Me personally, I'm taking Detroit money line.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I think this is the team that's going to break that streak. Yeah, there's no doubt.
To compare that firepower, to show what they just did in Dallas, was not a fluke.
Yeah.
And it's not like everyone's going to say, oh, Dallas defense is not the greatest. They have injuries, so-and-so. Sure. But they did not take the foot off the gas.
Nope.
They pounded and put up points, and they're going to go against Minnesota.
Yeah.
Knocking on the door for the tying record there, saying, hey, listen, guys, we're still in your division.
Yeah.
We still know how to play good football, and we're going to come and have fun. And Clayton Martin's going to help him.
I agree. I mean, hey, you heard it here first.
Yep.
We're going full on Detroit plus 1.5.
Yep.
Maybe sprinkle that extra on money line if you're feeling lucky. But right now, we're rolling with the first window, Detroit versus Minnesota.
Yes.
Both calling Detroit plus 1.5. That's your free pick game of the week.
There we go.
Aim Sports. Lock it in.
Lock it in.
That's it. Going on into the second window. Because after the 1 o'clock games, there's always the 4 o'clock games. So, the second game, and this is going to be a widely popular game across the board. You probably already know what we're talking about. It's a rematch of last year's Super Bowl final. Mm-hmm. We have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers.
In San Fran.
In San Fran. Now, we obviously know there's a plethora of injuries. Rashee Rice with the Chiefs, C-Mac with the 49ers. Now, all that to be said, San Francisco currently is favored -2. And this time, I'll throw it to you, Alnoor.
Yes.
Let me know what you think before I give you my pick, brother.
All right, so once again, we love referees. Alan Eck is refereeing this game. Alan Eck, as I'm going to tell you, my brother, likes home teams. 13-3 on the money line and 11-5 against the spread, which points towards San Francisco covering the spread, going out and beating Kansas City. But let's not forget who the quarterback of Kansas City is.
Mm-hmm.
We got Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Patty Mahomes as an underdog, you cannot. It's Patty Mahomes.
Yes.
It speaks for himself. Patty Mahomes is 25-6 straight up. 17-13-1 against the spread versus NFC in his career. As underdogs versus the NFC, Mahomes is 3-1 straight up and 3-0-1 against the spread.
Yeah.
The only loss he had went back to 2018 against the Rams.
That's
that was that shootout game that they had back and forth.
Yeah, and that was almost too long to even count. Man.
Too long to even count. And the San Francisco team, yes, they've been playing really well. They're there. They've had a lot of injuries. But Mahomes is just Patty Mahomes.
Yeah.
And like even off extended rest, him and Andy Reid, Mahomes is 28-7 straight up and 18-16 against the spread. And while Reid is 50-38 against the spread. Just Andy Reid himself.
Yeah.
And they're 16-19-1 against the spread as underdogs on the road. Like that's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
So not only did they have extended rest, they probably went to San Francisco early.
Yep.
They've been watching San Francisco play football. You got Mr. Andy Reid, who's always going to come up with some sort of scheme that no one's ever seen.
Yeah.
There's guaranteed to be a trick play in this game.
Oh, for sure.
We've seen Kelsey is like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
When the lights are brighter than usual, he shows up.
He does. And he's still searching for his first TD.
And it could be tomorrow.
Could be.
It could be on Sunday where he gets it, Super Bowl rematch, to be like, hey, listen, I was part of the Super Bowl teams. I have 2 rings. Don't forget about me.
And he scored in the Super Bowl. Did
yeah.
he not?
Yeah. So don't forget about me, because I'm going to come and I'm going to score some points.
Yep.
To me, I'll give you my pick right away, right now. I got Patty Mahomes. Never fade Patty Mahomes. Patty Mahomes all day. Patty Mahomes +2, Kansas City. That's what I got, Irshad. Lock it in, everybody. Abe Sports. It's just now we have to find out if my brother rolling with me or he's against me.
You know, as you guys know, if you guys been keeping up for a while, me and Mr. Mahomes have a very interesting relationship. Even though he wins, I lose. even though he loses or he hasn't lost, I still somehow lose. There's literally no winning for me. So just from that alone, I'm going to go with Patty Mahomes. But all jokes aside.
No, there's still another joke, too, I could give you, too.
Lay it on me.
We broke the curse on Thursday.
We did.
Now there's another curse where you say Patty Mahomes, you still end up losing.
Oh, man. That's one curse I ain't going to test just yet.
Exactly.
I ain't going to test that curse because Patty Mahomes has my number, and he's been, giving me the L's across this entire season.
Not tomorrow, brother.
Not tomorrow. Tomorrow, Mr. Mahomes, I'm riding with you.
Yep.
And I'm saying Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
+2.
+2.
For a couple of reasons. Though.
Yeah.
All right. So we know right out of the gate that right now with Andy Reid, obviously all you mentioned, in the months of September and October, when rest comes early, they're 23-9 against the spread.
Damn.
Okay? They're nearly 3 times as likely to cover the spread than they are to lose it.
Damn.
But one of the things that we also talk about here at AIM Sports, not only just the one side, it's the other side as well. Purdy, on the other hand, is just 11-11 against the spread versus non-divisional opponents.
Ooh.
Okay? And so when you look at it that way, it is interesting, but we obviously know C-Mac isn't playing.
Yep.
Okay? We know this. Now, since the start of last season, the Niners have played 3 games without Debo.
Yeah.
Okay? They're 0-3, scoring exactly 17. Now, we know Debo has kind of been injured.
Yep.
We know he's kind of nursing some injuries. But this is going to be something interesting to see because it is a tough matchup. It is more mental than it is physical, I'd argue.
Yep.
And C-Mac isn't there. C-Mac essentially held them down in the Super Bowl final.
Yep.
Right? So, it's going to be interesting because, once again, they're coming off a bye. Right? Now, undefeated teams on 13 or more days rest are 27-15 against the spread since 2003.
Yeah.
So, the Chiefs are looking good.
Yeah.
Right? Both from how Mahomes is playing, you mentioned some numbers there, how Andy Reid's doing, how statistically just teams have been doing in general, as well as the fact that Mahomes is playing solid. Okay,
yeah.
let's get that out of the way. And Mahomes, we know, is probably Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer out of the gate. We know this now, okay? But Mahomes is so good that this will be the second time in his career since 2017 that he's been listed as an underdog against a team that's 500 or worse.
Oh, damn.
So in this case, San Fran's 3-3, and this is the second time he's been put out as a dog. Okay?
That's a disgrace to put.
That's disrespectful.
To put the face of the NFL, Patty Mahomes, as an underdog.
Super Bowl champion.
Twice. Back to back.
Like, people need to understand the gravity of what he's doing. He does not have his wide receiver 1.
Yeah, he doesn't have his running back 1.
And he is 5-0.
And Kelsey doesn't have a touchdown this season.
And he's 5-0.
Exactly. And listed as an underdog?
And he's 5-0. People are seriously discounting this guy.
Yeah.
It is not even fair. Plus, the true caliber of a Hall of Famer or an elite quarterback isn't that he prefers home or away.
Yeah.
It's that he can play anywhere.
Anywhere.
But in this case, Mahomes loves the road.
He loves the road.
He loves it, okay? He is 18-5 on the road when the line is -3 or less, or he is an underdog.
Yeah.
Take that in.
Yeah.
Okay? take that in his career. So we'll start over. So in his career, he's 46-12 straight up on the road or neutral site, and 48-13 straight up at home, losing one more home game versus on the road. But in the last 3 seasons, he's 16-2 straight up in road or neutral games after beating that opponent in their previous meeting. Okay? Now, Mahomes has played 22 games. Now, obviously, standard time because he's going to San Fran.
Yep.
When Mahomes has played in Mountain or Pacific Standard Time, he is 19-3 straight up in those games.
Damn.
And he is visiting the Pacific Standard Time.
Yep, he is.
So you've put in the sheer factor that he is good.
Really good.
He is good as an underdog.
Stats will even show you too.
He will.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality of it is, as an underdog, he's hitting 71% pass completion.
Yeah.
Just under 4,000 passing yards. Nearly 300 yards per game.
Yeah.
Across 38 TDs and 11 interceptions. But here's the thing. At its very core, Mahomes is 25, 8, and 1.
Yeah.
Against the spread in his career as a favorite of 3 points or less or an underdog.
Damn.
Okay? Simple as that.
Simple.
Now, Patty Mahomes is 10-3 straight up as an underdog. Straight up. Just an underdog.
Yeah.
Not even a favorite by 3, just as an underdog.
Yep.
He is 10-3 straight up as an underdog. But wait for this line. And this is where things get super interesting. Patty Mahomes, simple. As an underdog, which he is tomorrow, he is 11, 1, and 1 against the spread. So only once in his life did he actually lose against the spread. This is the straight up best record as an underdog in the Super Bowl era for a quarterback with at least 10 starts.
Yeah.
So literally he has the exact same chance of pushing tomorrow as he does losing. Take that in. So lots to say. Obviously, you mentioned the ref.
Yes, Alan Eck.
We
likes
know
the home teams.
He likes the home teams.
But I feel that, as Patty Mahomes, face of the NFL, Alan Eck should, put respect on his name and has to give him.
Exactly.
It's like any other sport. You go and see LeBron play. You see Kobe play.
Yeah.
Referees, may not like the team, but as a Super Bowl superstar caliber player, face of the franchise, face of the league, and how do you go against it?
Exactly. I mean, he may like the home team, but I'm sure he likes Patty Mahomes better.
Exactly.
And you know what the reality, I think you brought up a good point, Alnoor, is the reality of it is that these refs, I'm sure may or may not skew the games, whatever, that's debatable, but they have a vested interest in upkeeping the NFL.
Exactly.
And the NFL has a vested interest in ensuring viewership. And you know who brings in viewership? Patty Mahomes.
That whole Kansas City team.
They do. So by default, if you have some sort of like bad call or whatever the case is, people will get upset, tend to lose. You don't want that. So I tend to agree with you. You have Alan Eck, who yes, maybe favors the home team, but I think he'll favor Patty Mahomes more.
Yeah.
So all to say, I'm riding with you on this one, brother.
Yes.
I too am going Kansas City +2. So you guys heard it here. AIM Sports, second window.
Yep.
Kansas City, San Fran, rematch of Super Bowl. We are both locking in for KC +2. Put that through.
Another thing too, right? There's 2 undefeated teams coming into this week.
Yep.
Both coming off byes.
Yep.
One of them has to lose.
Yeah.
So the first window, undefeated team is going to be done.
Yep.
Then you're going to see Kansas City play after, and they're going to be the lone undefeated team.
Yes.
After tomorrow. Let's hope that stays that way.
Well, yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too.
Now, I mean, the good thing is, good or bad, I guess it depends how you look at it, is that, yes, technically, they can lose tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we can still win.
Exactly. We have that option too.
We're the +2.
Yep, we do. Also could be a push.
We know we've been getting those lately around here.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of push lately.
So I think it's been at least on average 1 a week for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But all to say is that it's going to be an interesting game. So just lock in for that second window. We know we'll be watching it.
Yep.
But there is another last game of the week, which is Monday.
Yep.
Game 1 of 2.
Yes.
And this too is also a heavy hitter game.
Yeah. If you like fireworks, you like good football,
High-powered offense.
High-powered offense, running. You get good defense as well, too. You know, just a fast-paced football game.
Yeah.
You're going to tune into this game. And the game we were talking about is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, buddy.
So we have Baltimore coming in after their win against Washington last week. We saw what Tampa Bay did. Destroyed, New Orleans last week.
Oh, buddy.
Ran them over. And now they're coming in. Two hot teams coming in into Tampa. Going to have this little shootout matchup, I feel. This is going to be a fun, interesting game. You have King Henry, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews just got his first touchdown last week, so he's finally feeling good there. And then you have this hot Baker Mayfield playing like Tom Brady out here.
Actually.
Tom Brady couldn't even put up 50-plus points with the Buccaneers, and Baker Mayfield did it last week. And then you have Mike Evans, and you got Godwin on the other side catching the football. And then you have their defense, too, for the Buccaneers. Don't get fooled by the Buccaneers' defense. They're playing really well. They know when it's time to come and show out, they will come out and show out. And this is going to be a fun game to watch. But before I get into everything, we have Mr. Third player, or third team that's on there, that my brother likes to call it. We got Alex Kemp.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Kemp is reffing that game for Monday. Alex Kemp is he doesn't not say he doesn't like home teams. He's average. Home teams are 47-50-1 against the spread in his career. So there's games where he goes, "Oh, I like them," and then there's games I don't like the home teams.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit of a impact there, but it's gonna be fun. Then you have Lamar Jackson. You have Mr. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson plays really good football. Really, really good football. But in his career, he's faced the NFC 23 times. In that, he's 22-1 straight up, including last week. He got that win against Washington, NFC teams. But against the spread, he's 11-11-1. And that push came last week against Washington. So right now, against
Which
NFC,
we called.
Which we did call, yes, and we got that push. Right? And then so Lamar Jackson likes to play, but with NFC teams, and especially this high-powered offense team coming in, they can match Lamar Jackson and Baltimore's offense and score points, and it's gonna be fun. I'm just baffled and don't know who to take on this game. It's a tough situation. Maybe some of your points you tell me, Irsh, might maybe swing a certain way or two.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I tend to agree because it's going to be a high-powered offense.
Yeah.
Both these teams apparently love offense and don't really like defense all too much. Sure, you know, the defense for the Ravens is generally good. The rush defense is number one in the league.
Yeah.
But generally, they prefer offense.
Yep.
Right? Their passing defense is at the bottom of the league for both. Their points are nearing the bottom.
Yeah.
But one of the things is I look at it is total yardage, right? So let's start off there. Pure statistics. So Baltimore has arguably the best offense in the entire league. Okay? They're first in total yardage, first in rushing yards, obviously led behind King Henry, and first in third down conversion. They're fourth in amount of points scored and top 10 in terms of passing yards. So all of that to say is that the Buccaneers allow the 28th most, or 28th worst, rather, amount of yards per game. So I think Lamar Jackson and company are going to walk up and down that field.
Okay.
All right, first and foremost. I think LJ is going to have the ability to air it out, and I think Zay Flowers, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him picking up 2 touchdowns tomorrow.
Damn.
Okay? I think they might lock him up, sure, but I think that's where you're going to see the tight ends kind of come through now. I obviously think that, you know, both having the same record, being cross-division, cross-conference, there's a lot that goes into it, right? But you're right, Alnoor. You know, Lamar Jackson has played an NFC team 23 times. He's 11-11-1 against the spreads, one of which we called. But at the same token, there are other things that do, you know, interest me when it comes to this, right? So starting tomorrow, we obviously know that currently, and we might have mentioned this, Baltimore is favored as the favorite -3.5. So over the past 4 seasons, Lamar Jackson is, it doesn't bode too well.
Yeah.
Is 18-21-1 against the spread as a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But when he's favored by more than 3 points, which he is in this case,
Mm-hmm.
he's 7-18-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So I do understand what that looks like. Okay? However, the defense has been rock solid for the Ravens.
Yeah, they have been, yeah.
Rock solid, I'll tell you that. This is arguably probably one of the better starts that he's had. And I think the reality of it is you look at someone like Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that, he's been playing real well. And Mayfield has played on Monday Night Football 6 times,
Mm-hmm.
where he is just 1-5 straight up and against the spread,
Mm-hmm.
when listed as an underdog. Or sorry, 0-4. Apologies. 0-4 straight up against the spread when listed as the underdog. He's only won in Monday Night Football in 2019.
Yeah.
He faced the Jets.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a while.
It's been a real while, yeah. Mondays are not cute for Baker Mayfield.
They aren't, right? And I'll definitely tell him that, right? But here's the thing. The line actually opened up Baltimore -4.5.
Yep.
It is currently Baltimore -3.5.
Yes.
So the line's actually moved to Mayfield's side of things.
In his favor, yeah.
In his favor. But here's the thing. During Baker Mayfield's career, he is 19-32-1 when the line's actually moved in his direction. So basically, as the line gets more favored to him, he's more inclined to become less profitable and lose.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Sometimes I get it, because when we look at the referee, you look at the way Baltimore's history is, and with Alex Kemp, like, we know that Alex Kemp is 47-50-1
Yeah.
for home teams. Divisional home teams, obviously, we know it could be interesting. Luckily, this isn't a divisional matchup in this case. So that kind of doesn't matter at this point. But we know that he is otherwise favoring a little bit towards the away team. Just a touch. And I think it's going to be in this newfound balance of what we talked about, the NFL viewership, the excitement that I think Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, who's found a new home, he's breaking all records. And I think that in and of itself becomes a difference maker. I think you have Alex Kemp edging it on a little bit. I think tomorrow's going to be 47-51 and 1. And I think all that to say, I'm rolling with the current line and the favorite at Baltimore -3.5.
Ooh, so you think they're just gonna come into Tampa Bay and just show them, hey?
Yeah. I don't think Tampa Bay is a bad team. I just don't think they're as good of a team as Lamar Jackson and company, because I think, and like I said, don't get me wrong, you have Chris Godwin, you have Mike Evans, you have Baker, like you have a good solid team. But that's the difference. The difference is, and we've heard this cliche for anyone who's been around sports, it's offense wins games, defense wins championships,
for sure.
And I think you're gonna have the offense from both teams come super high powered, as we've seen them do. But I think the defense is the difference maker.
Yeah.
And I think the defense for the Baltimore Ravens will outlast that of Tampa, and I think that'll make or break tomorrow's game. And Monday's game.
Yes.
Apologies, Monday's game. And I think that's where we're going to see the difference. And because of that, I think Baltimore's going to be able to hold it down -3.5.
Ooh, that's a tough one. You said a lot of points. You played in the factor of the referee as well too. You said how Lamar Jackson is like just unbelievable. He's amazing when he plays. But we can't forget, Baker Mayfield knows his team.
Yeah.
He played in Cleveland. He's drafted by Cleveland Browns. So he was in the same division as they were.
True.
So he knows how they play, their game plan. Man, don't get me wrong, Baltimore knows how Baker Mayfield plays. But now Baker Mayfield has a better team.
Yeah.
A team that's surrounded by him with positive attitude and a winning attitude. As we can see right now in Cleveland, things are not all too well in the dog pound.
No.
Not at all, not too well. Going back, Alex Kemp, when he is officiating, the Ravens are 3-1. 3-1 when he's officiating. Okay? 3-1 against the spread.
Yeah.
That one spread that they took a loss to was to, you know who? Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh.
Where Baltimore actually won the game.
Damn.
But Baker Mayfield covered. And that was back in 2019. Back in 2019. Yep. And the favorites are 5-0 on the money line and 4-1 against the spread in 2004 when Kemp is officiating, which all leads towards Baltimore covering the spread.
Yeah.
But that one factor, Baker Mayfield, I feel, has something to prove. He hasn't won a division in Baltimore. He hasn't shown to everybody, hey, I'm Baker Mayfield, and I know I was a first overall pick. You know, I should be there. I think Baker Mayfield breaks the curse. I think Baltimore is walking into Tampa Bay thinking that they have this game on lock.
Yeah.
I think this game is closer than people think.
I think so, eh?
I'm taking Tampa Bay to cover plus 3.5.
Bold.
I'm saying this is going to be a field goal game. And I think Baltimore is going to win the game.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be off the kick of Mr. Tucker, Mr. Money. Mr. Money's going to kick it in Tampa Bay, win it for them. But I like Baker Mayfield here with the offense and everything that they have in Tampa Bay, what's going on for them. And let's not forget, too, right? Baltimore had a lot of offensive line problems. They were getting a lot of false starts, offensive holding. And they were like that in the first couple of weeks, and then they got a lot better.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, Baltimore is that team that they get better. Everyone goes, yeah, they're doing so well. And then there's a game where they're favored to win, poised to win. They should rock the boat, destroy Tampa. And then they just turn heads and not able to, come through for the people. But then, hey, it's football. You know, when you're gambling out there, when you're making sides, picking sides, choosing, things happen.
Yeah.
Everything points to Baltimore going. Alex Kemp officiating, 3-1 for Baltimore. One loss against Baker Mayfield when you covered in 2019. I think that's going to repeat of 2019. Just he has a better team than the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm here. I'm going against you, my brother. Taking Tampa Bay Monday night plus 3.5.
I mean, honestly, that's when you said it that way. I mean, with that surprise wild card of Baker being the one that when they played in the same division, the Browns, that does definitely add, an interesting piece to it. I'll add that.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be a good game because I'm gonna keep my call after that.
Yeah.
So you heard it here. Yep. Our third game of the week, Baltimore at Tampa Bay.
Yep.
My brother and I are actually going two separate different ways. Alnoor's calling Tampa Bay plus 3.5.
Yep.
I'm calling Baltimore minus 3.5. And I get it, because if it was -3, probably a different question, or -2.5, probably a different question.
Probably a different question.
But the call here is spreads -3.5. So lock it in if you're tailing with me.
Yeah.
It's Baltimore ride the favorite. If you're tailing Alnoor, it's the underdogs with Tampa at plus 3.5.
Yep.
But that's what we have for the free picks for the AIM Sports Week 7 Game of the Week.
Yes.
So hopefully you guys locked in. We'll summarize at the end of our episode. And now we get into
the fun
parts.
Yes.
Right? Definitely some of the fun parts where people kind of tune in for. We got starting off with the trending bet.
All right.
So, Alnoor, what do we got for the trending bet, man?
So, trending bet we have here is a player that didn't play last week, had a toe injury, was injured, coming back. We got Mr. James Cook. Mm-hmm. Addition of Amari Cooper will open up. The linebackers have to spread off the box.
Yeah.
You got to double cover Amari Cooper. You go and double Amari Cooper or play one high safety on the top, you're going to pass the ball to James Cook, and James Cook is just going to go.
Oh, yeah.
James Cook is poised to have a big return, a big game, and for him to score any time is 2.2 times your unit.
That's huge.
And they're playing a Tennessee team that, a lot of people don't talk about it because they're having their own issues there, but Mr. James Cook is versatile.
Yeah.
And anytime touchdown score doesn't mean he has to run.
Nope.
He can come out the backfield and he knows he can catch the ball too. He is a good wide receiver. He's like a Kamara.
Yep.
He does both. And James Cook is our guy at AIM Sports where we feel he's going to find the paint, score that touchdown against Tennessee.
Yep.
2.2 times your unit. Lock it in. Join us. Let's eat tomorrow on that.
You heard that. James Cook is going to be cooking tomorrow.
Yes.
That's what it is. And then continuing our momentum that we had on Thursday Night Football, we have our 3-leg parlay that we're hoping to make 2 in a row.
Yes.
And this one's a little interesting.
Very interesting. We were putting this together and we were like, there was a lot of options, but we found this one here is like the one.
We found it. And not only are these plausible, but the payout's great.
The payout's amazing. I've been going and telling the people and the folks what we're betting on and what our 3-leg parlay is. But after Thursday, where your curse got broken, Irshad, I'm going to give you the honors. Let the people know what the parlay is.
Oh, I appreciate you, brother. So, to keep this momentum going of our win for the 3-leg parlay, our first leg, as we talked about, earlier and is one of our game of the weeks.
Yeah.
It's Jared Goff going for at least more than two passing touchdowns.
Yep.
So the unit on that, depending on your book, could be around 1.95 times your unit.
Yes.
And our second leg is also a game of the week, which is Mr. Patty Mahomes himself, also throwing for more than two touchdowns. And that is 1.86 times your unit.
Yes. And
this last one is an interesting one because we have a anytime touchdown parlay with this gentleman who is returning home in what is arguably a revenge game, perhaps.
A
personal game. And it has led his new team's offense to be 6th in the league, going up against a rushing defense that is literally in the middle of the pack. So it could go any way, and that is none other than Mr. Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Anytime touchdown at 1.6 times your unit. Collectively, it's where things get interesting. The total return is nearly 5.9 times your unit.
Yes.
That is huge for a high-powered quarterback like Jared Goff, like Patty Mahomes, and a rush-first, heavy-duty revenge game like Saquon. So, lock it in. So, Jared Goff.
2 touchdowns.
Patty Mahomes.
2 touchdowns.
And Saquon.
To find the end zone.
And that's it. Lock it in. Let's continue the momentum. Let's go for 2 weeks, two parlays in a row.
Let's go.
Let's lock it in.
All right. You heard it there. Lock it in to our 3-leg parlay. Now it leads us to our fantasy lineup. Where, we want all our players to find the end zone that we pick. And so let's start with it right away. Let's get right into it. Quarterback for Sunday, Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders. He's playing like a number 1 pick. He has MVP numbers. He's showing why he should have been drafted 1 over Williams. But, the team that's surrounded him, Jaden Daniels should find his people, throw the football. He might even find the end zone himself. He is a running quarterback.
He is.
So that's one check mark right there. So Jaden Daniels, our quarterback.
That's it.
Running back, Irsh, tell him.
We obviously spoke about him already. Mr. Trending Bet himself, James Cook. On that first game return, we anticipate he's going to pick up exactly where he left off, and he's doing it all at home. So we anticipate a heavy yard usage, as well as the fact that he's going to be finding the pay dirt a couple of times.
100%.
All of this underpinned by the fact that Tennessee holds one of the strongest defenses.
They do.
When it comes to pass yardage. And they are actually number 1. So Josh Allen, we believe, is going to be held to check. So he's going to rely on James Cook and his backfield to find that pay dirt. And our second running back to close it out is Kyren Williams of the LA Rams. He has actually scored, 4 or 5 touchdowns in a row now?
I think he had one, except for the bye week.
So it's only going to help perpetuate that Kyren Williams is going to be a key pillar of their backfield going forward, which means that he's going to be relied on by Stafford and either for a check down, for a rush. But one thing that we can assure is likely a touchdown. So that's our one.
Even with Cooper Kupp coming back too.
Even with Cooper Kupp,
if he comes back, at least you'll have Williams finding the paint, a little open space, and just find it there.
Which leads us to our
wide receivers.
Let me throw it to you, man.
Wide receivers. We got Mr. Stephon Diggs. We got this high-powered offense with Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud. Nico Collins is on IR. Tank Dell went from 3rd to 2nd string. Diggs is number 1. Now, let's not forget, Diggs was in Minnesota in the same division against Green Bay. So he played them multiple times in his career. Now, going into Green Bay and Lambeau, it's always a tough place to play because it's always cold. But Stephon Diggs has played in cold weather. He was in Minnesota, played in Lambeau against Green Bay. His previous team, he played in Buffalo, which is always cold. This connection is going to be fun. Stephon Diggs is finding the paint tomorrow. Stephon Diggs, our first wide receiver on our fantasy. Which leads us to another wide receiver that loves finding the paint, is Mr. Mike Evans. Talking about Baker Mayfield, we were saying that he has a good offense. He's throwing the football a lot, and we got Mike Evans as our second wide receiver, who is gonna find the paint Monday night and help our fantasy team with points. Which leads us to a person who has not found the paint yet in our tight end position. Irshad, tell them who this person is, because I would never have sat here in week 7 saying how this person does not have a touchdown.
And this is surprising, but we believe tomorrow is going to be the day where he breaks it. And that is Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me. Because this is a rematch of the Super Bowl finals. And if for those who remember last year, Kelce was the lead receiver at 93 yards. Not only do we believe that he's going to be able to pick up similar yardage this go around, but he's actually going to break that curse that is otherwise holding him down from finding the touchdown in the end zone. It's going to be ending tomorrow. So we anticipate Kelce's coming up with a big return, yardage, PPR, touchdown, lock it in. Patty's looking at him. And like Alnoor mentioned, he's a Swiftie now. He's all about big time. He wants the spotlights. Well, tomorrow you're not going to get any bigger than that besides the Super Bowl itself.
Exactly.
So I'm sure he's going to be kicking in, looking forward to that. And it's in sunny San Francisco. What better way to do it?
What better way to do it? Which now leads us to defense. We have this team that should nitpick this other team and provide points for them. I think this defense might even find the paint tomorrow. There could be a special teams touchdown here, or a defensive touchdown. We are going with the Buffalo Bills. At home versus Tennessee Titans. The Titans really haven't found themselves this year.
No.
They're up and down. Yeah, they're here and there. They have a lot of trouble in paradise. Calvin Ridley's not really happy. Hopkins is there. Then you got Pollard, who's also there too. But it's just not all there. We think the Bills are going to come. They're going to pick off, what's his name, Will Lewis, who is their quarterback? Or is
Mason Rudolph.
Oh, they're going with Mason Rudolph.
So they're
going with Mason Rudolph. I think this is his first start. He played in Pittsburgh. Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Didn't Buffalo and Pittsburgh play last year in the playoffs? So he was there too. He was their quarterback. Buffalo knows all too well about him. I think he even gets picked off for pick 6. But Bills defense locking in for fantasy. Which leads us to our kicker.
Now this is an interesting kicker because he's Mr. Steady Leg. And obviously, he's Mr. Big Time himself. He likes that, likes the range. This is actually going to be on the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's Harrison Butker. I mean, look at the spread. Spread's -2. So this could easily be a matter of a safety or a field goal. And we imagine Butker's ready to play. He's kicking, yes, outside, but it's nothing different that he's not used to at Arrowhead. It's going to be just like this all over again, except warmer. I'm sure he's excited. Everyone's excited. We imagine he's going to be forefront with Patty Mahomes and the team to ensure that they're capitalizing wherever they can. So, Harrison Butker.
I feel like he's going to kick like a 65-yarder tomorrow.
Oh, for sure.
For the game.
100%.
Just, that's just a little fun right there. A little, player prop there that I'm just throwing out there. But yeah, that's the game it's going to look like.
That's it.
So that's our fantasy team. Going to recap it for you guys. Daniel Daniels, quarterback. James Cook, Kyron Williams, running back. Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans at the wide receiver. We got Mr. Swiftie himself, Kelce at our tight end. We got the Bills defense, and we got Butker as our kicker.
Perfect.
That's a solid lineup.
That's a solid lineup. And then going back up, we got our 3-leg parlay. Jared Goff throwing for 2 touchdowns or more.
2 tutties.
Patty Mahomes for throwing 2 touchdowns or more. Saquon, anytime, touchdown. Nearly 6 times your unit to lock it in at your sports book.
There we go. And then leads us to our trending bet, James Cook to find the paint anytime. Find the paint anytime, 2.2 times your unit. Lock it in and have fun with it.
That's it. And then our big entree of our AIM Sports Betting is our game of the weeks. First window, Detroit, Minnesota. Alnoor and I are both rolling Detroit plus 1.5.
There we go.
Second window, Kansas City and San Francisco. We're both rolling with Kansas City plus 2.
And then we got Monday night, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, where my brother and I are going to be going against each other. Have a friendly rivalry going on here. Where I myself only took Tampa Bay plus 3.5. My brother Irsh got Baltimore at -3.5.
And that's it, folks.
There you go. From AIM Sports. Hope you guys listen. Stay tuned for what happens this week. Next week, lock in your parlays, lock in your bets. Responsible gambling. Responsible gambling at its finest. Just bet what you can afford and enjoy your popcorn tomorrow.
Have fun watching football.
There we go. From AIM Sports, we here, we out. Peace.
Peace.